Hello, my name is Paul Soye, and I'd like to read an extract from my book, The Boy in the Gap, for you. It wasn't a particularly nice day, a little overcast, but it was peaceful out on the lake, and as we pulled away from the shore, I could see the smoke rising from our home, the gable end in view first, then the roof and the chimney to the front. The Leyland cypresses, planted as a shelter belt, had outgrown their purpose and left what was visible of the house unprotected. I took the oars and pulled away off to the left, so we wouldn't be seen from our yard. Taking off on the lake wasn't a great idea, and I should have said so from the start. Right now, we were in full view of Marcin and Breach's place. And if he wasn't watching from his house, he'd be somewhere up on the hill, scratching his head and tut-tutting this very second. In a funny way, that gave me some comfort. Like lunatics, we tried to chase two swans that were ahead of us, missing strokes and splashing water over ourselves. Little progress, but enough noise was made to be heard all around the shore. The swans glided peacefully on the surface. Like a cherished desire, they remained always outside our reach. Puffing and panting, we lay on our oars laughing at the fun we were having. Here we are, surrounded by water and both of us dying of thirst. Hold on there now, said Sean, and reaching into his school bag, he pulled out 2 cans of pills. We'll have this one now and save the other for lunch. Let's land on the island. The island was just big enough for the pair of swans to nest in summer with a little to spare. It had a large stone which gave us some shelter from the light, cool breeze as we lay there sipping warm lager. We could bring over some stuff and build a hut. Divorcing ourselves for a short time from the world we lived in, we imagined a place of shelter and peace, with no interference, holed up like outlaws. A place where we could stash a few cans and come over when we felt like it. I started to laugh. What? As I sat upright, I laughed even louder. What's so funny? I tried to speak, but couldn't for the laughter and the fizz of beer that had gone up my nose. Sean laughed, though he didn't know why. What's so funny? Sean, you live up in the village. Here at the lake, it's different. If you think that we weren't being watched from the moment we pushed off this morning, then you'd be mistaken. Here, they know what you're thinking before you even think it. And do you know why? He shrugged, waiting for my explanation. Because they've done it before us, that's why. You can't escape it. Oh, it's like that up in the village too. Well, maybe it is. But do you know something else? It will all be done again by someone else when we're long gone. Sean thought for a moment. Yeah, maybe you're right. But I'm going to fuck off out of here soon, as I'm 16, and leave them to it. Everyone thinks that too. When are you 16? In July. Will you sit the exams in June? Oh, I suppose I will. What about you? Well, Tom will get the farm, so I need something else. Is that a yes then? It's a firm maybe. Look. What? Do you see that Egypt? Who? On the hill at our place, rounding up the sheep in a tractor. Look at them, scattered all over the hillside. Jesus. Is that Joe? That's Joe the Lachico. Thinks he owns the place. Thinks he can walk into our house and take over. Will she marry him? The question stunned me. Not that I hadn't thought of it myself, but it entered that realm of family privacy which you're taught in the womb not to breach, certainly not to ask about. But I suppose I had brought it up. I was silent for a moment, but I felt I had nothing to lose by answering. She'd better not. She fucking better not. Martine Conway doesn't call anymore because of him. The place is falling down, fences not fixed, gaps to repair. I'm sure half the neighbourhood is talking. It was Sean's turn to be silent, and his silence gave his answer. Are they? Are they what? Talking about us? Oh, you know as well as I do. They're asking, is he there all the time now or what? His family have a place back in Drummond. Not much of a place in the hills, I hear. Where's that other can? We both had sandwiches for our school lunch, and were in fine form for eating them after the rowing, and were about halfway through them when I saw the lorry climbing the street to our house. What's that lorry doing at our place? Probably lost or looking for someone. I jumped to my feet instantly, realizing what was happening. Bastard! Fuck off, you bloody bastard! I screamed at the top of my voice, and I knew it could be heard all over the place. Quick, into the boat now, and row like fuck. What's up? He's selling the sheep. Hold it, the school bags, they're back at the stone. Oh, leave them to hell, we'll get them again. I rowed like mad, keeping the boat on course as best I could. We're not straight. I don't care where we land, so long as it's near the house. I drove the boat onto the stony beach near the road and left Sean to drag it ashore. By the time I reached the road, the lorry had come down the street from our yard and flew past me. Bastard! I shouted. I saw Martine up at his place looking down at me. I'd say he heard the roaring. I ran up to our house and into the yard. No sheep to be seen, but plenty of their droppings about the place where they had been. I tore in through the back door, tears streaming down my face, and burst into the kitchen. What does he think he's doing? He's destroying the place under your very nose, and you're doing nothing about it. Is he after selling the sheep? Is he? Mammy's hands were in the sink. I heard the Lachiko come in behind me. Did you sell our sheep, you stupid bastard? I'm only doing the very best, that's all. Trying to keep this fine place going. To be a help to your mother. I picked up the nearest thing to my hand, the old bone-handled bread knife, and pointed it at him. If you don't leave that woman alone and get out of this house, I'll kill you. Do you hear me? There was no answer. I drew the knife with rage across the room, safely wide of where he was standing, but there was a moment of doubt on his face which gave me pleasure. I left the kitchen and flung myself into an armchair beside the fireplace. I heard him telling her that this was the thanks she got for doing her very best for us, and that she was a slave to the place and needed her own life. Those children, fine and strong as they are, and well looked after as anyone can see, need to be taken in hand before things go too far. They need discipline and guidance and a firm hand. Anyone can see that they're taking advantage of the situation. They've been too long without a man about the place, and you, God love you, need to look after yourself, so as you'll be fit to look after them. I suppose she couldn't see it. She was vulnerable and unable to appreciate the treachery in what he was saying.